Alright. Hello. It's been a lot longer than a week. A lot has happened. I may or may not make another video on that. I kind of don't want to talk about it. Don't mind the knife. Okay, so I got myself the little Scooby snack, fruit snack things. You know, classic Betty Crocker fruit snacks. They don't open. Or at least my terrible dexterity doesn't want to open them. And I've had to open every single pack with my knife, which has my name on it, which is cool. Well, it has a legal name on it, but I still like it. I still like the legal name. Not the point of this video. I'm sorry. So ignore me sorting my fruit snacks here by character / flavor. Don't judge me. Also, I'm sorry for this little shadow in the corner right here. It's actually the band-aid that I usually keep over my webcam. I didn't get it like fully out of the way this time because I'm lazy. Actually, y'all are lucky that I'm sitting up in this video. I've been in a lot of pain recently and I haven't been able to sit up for terribly long amounts of time. And that's a almost 2-minute intro of just nothing. I may or may not be working on this. It's here in case I need it. A horrible mess of a bed behind me, including a stuffed animal. This is old Teddy. You'll probably see most of my stuffed animals in my videos. Anyway, not the point of this video. The point of this video was actually, I was torn between a couple of ideas. And one of my friends helped me decide on talking about headcanons, not like general, but like specifically Disney headcanons or opinions that I have that people usually think are really weird and want to argue with me about. But here's the thing, you're watching my video, which means you're on my channel, which means that I'm right. You can argue all you want in the comments and I'm still right. But mostly I just wanted to share some of the weird things I think about Disney movies, that just, I don't know, I just want to share the weird things I thought about Disney movies. I have it typed up on my phone, which is why you'll probably see my phone, because I need to read things. It's not scripted. I can't script myself. We've talked about this. But, I do need to sometimes collect my thoughts, which is why it's typed up in a kind of vague way that I'm sure only really makes sense to me. And we're like 3 minutes into this intro, and I haven't actually started talking about the headcanons yet. But I am apparently gonna be knitting. Welcome to my brain. It gets weird here. I guess that's why you guys are watching. So one headcanon that I don't think is really a headcanon, I just think it's fact, is that Rapunzel will never wear shoes. Ever. Like, okay, so first, I haven't watched the series. I think it's a series anyway. I've only seen the movie. But I also play a lot of, like, online dress-up games. And most of the online dress-up games tend to have Rapunzel have the biggest collection of shoes out of all of the Disney princesses. Like, no, she grew up without wearing shoes for 18 years of her life, and you think now just because she's a princess she's gonna wear shoes? No, she's not. She's not gonna wear shoes, especially not high heels. What are you talking about? No, this is not a thing that will happen. Going along with, like, Rapunzel will never wear shoes, a lot of the dress-up games have Merida be, like, the tomboy stereotype, which, like, I get it, and I love it, but, like, stop putting her in pants. Merida doesn't know what pants are. And you're like, what? Edith, what are you talking about? She totally knows what pants are. No, she doesn't. Let's talk about this, okay? She's a princess, so she's been wearing dresses her entire life. Her mother, the queen, only wears dresses Merida's entire life. She's also Scottish. Her father and her brothers all wear kilts. And the other clans wear kilts which means that Merida's never seen pants. She doesn't know what pants are. She's not gonna wear jeans. It's not that she doesn't like dresses, it's that she hates the marriage thing. But, like, she has no idea what pants are. What are you talking about? You know who does know what pants are? Ariel. And Ariel, I know that everybody loves the big floofy ball gowns on her, or the ever ironic mermaid skirt, but, like, Ariel went through so much to get her legs, and you're gonna tell me that she's not gonna wear pants and leggings and shorts all the time and show off the legs that she worked so hard for. Like, yes, she was a princess and is now a queen with a daughter, and, like, she has to be appropriate, and I get that, that's fine, but, like, her husband's a sailor, and he wears pants, and she can wear pants, it's fine. We are in a modern age. She wears pants. Ariel wears pants, okay? It's a pants party. Merida does not wear pants. Ariel wears pants. Okay? You see where I'm going with this? Oh yeah. Speaking of Ariel's legs, one of the things I wrote down was that I think Ursula was a lot nicer than she could have been. So here's the thing. Ariel's like, I love this dude, and I want legs to go be on land with this dude that I love very much. And Ursula gave her legs that matched her skin tone and were proportionate to the top half non-fin part of her body. And they looked really good. And they worked. And I assume had all of the bones in the right places. And, like, yeah, in the original Hans Christian Andersen version, like, every time Ariel took a step, it was, like, the worst pain she'd ever felt in her life. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Disney. And in Disney, there's no indication that her legs cause her any pain. They look good. They're the right size. They could have been goat legs. She could have turned her into a fawn, but she didn't. Ursula also had her sign a contract about this. Ariel didn't read it, she just signed it. For all we know, it could have said lots of things about the way Ursula's magic works in the contract, but Ariel didn't read it, because she's an idiot. She just signed it. And then Ursula did the whole thing of, like, oh, you know, pretty girls don't really get a voice, so if you go on land, you don't get a voice, which teaches Ariel a lot, honestly. And, like, Ursula kept the voice, too. She didn't just completely get rid of it. Like, yeah, okay, she used it for herself, and also tried to woo Prince Eric. Again, proving to Ariel that maybe everything shouldn't be thrown away for a guy that you haven't even talked to. But also, that could have been in the contract that we didn't read. Could have said that Ursula gets to use Ariel's voice however the hell she wants. So, as far as I'm concerned, she was a lot nicer than she could have been. Just like Maleficent. Maleficent was so much nicer than she could have been, and this is the hill I will die on. This is the one that starts a lot of fights, but this is the hill I will die on. Maleficent was so much nicer than she should have been. Okay? So, like, christenings are a huge deal. A huge deal. Like, this could potentially throw your kingdom into turmoil if you don't follow the proper etiquette and invite the proper people, okay? So King Stefan invited, you know, the neighboring king and Prince Philip, especially because there was that whole, like, betrothed since birth thing, and, like, you get to lay your first glimpse upon your future wife. Like, yeah, okay, cool. Mostly a business arrangement between kingdoms, but, like, that's really sweet. He invited a couple of the, like, upper I would say, like, nobility, and even a couple of, like, commoners. If you see, like, the whole scene, you see a couple people, like, towards the door, clearly as far away from the king as possible, but still in the castle, still at the christening. And he invited Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, who I guess are, like, the heads of the forest fairies. And Maleficent is, like, the head of the dark fairies. That's why she has all the henchmen, right? And he didn't invite her, which is not following proper etiquette or anything. And then, when she shows up to the christening, dressed nicely, I might add, and not supremely terrifying. I mean, like, she's scary, that's the point. But she's not, like, supremely, like, dragony terrifying, okay? She showed up, she dressed nice, and gave him a chance to fix his mistake by saying I was quite distressed to not at least receive an invitation, you know, which is when you say it got lost in the mail or something. And this dumbass is like, you weren't wanted. Are you trying to start a war with the dark fairies? Because that's how wars get started, my dude. Like, my dear Stefan, that is how wars get started. This is how you die. And instead of literally chopping his head off and putting it in the crib with the baby right then, she decides to give the baby a gift. She doesn't even call it a curse. She calls it a gift, which is more respectful and diplomatic on Maleficent's part than anything that she has been shown so far, which means that by all rights, she doesn't need to be nice right now. She doesn't need to be diplomatic right now. He basically declared war with her, and she's still nice enough to call it a gift and not a curse. And what is this gift? It's that she will be a good child, she will be a pretty child, and that on the, you know, evening of her 16th birthday, she will prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die. Which means that this disrespectful ass king gets 16 years with his daughter. That's an entire childhood. That's the first tooth, the first words, the first steps, the first ball even. That's birthday parties and writing lessons and embroidery lessons and all sorts of other good princessy things. 16 years of your daughter's life. Free of evil. He didn't deserve it, in my opinion. She could have just killed him right there, and I would not have seen any fault in it. Like, how many other curses give you a full childhood with your baby after you were literally basically declaring war against the dark fairies? He's lucky he's not dead. He really is. And again, this is the hill I will die on. I know we're already at like 13 minutes, but if you guys want to stick around, I do actually have one more Disney villain I wanted to talk about. And then if I think of more things, I might make a part 2 of this, but this is really the last kind of thing I have. I think that the witch from Beauty and the Beast is, like, the worst Disney villain. Okay, not, like, top tier worst, but, like, one of the worst. Okay, so this is going off of the original animated, for the most part, but also, I'm gonna talk about a little bit of the live action, but not really. We're mostly talking about the animated here. I need juice. Hang on. White grape juice, by the way. Completely off topic, but white grape juice is my favorite thing on the face of this planet. Okay. So, Prince Adam is 10 years old and recently an orphan, okay? So you have a grieving child in a castle with no one but his servants, which, I mean, is a lot of people, but also, depending on how you are raised, you don't really acknowledge their existence, so it's probably pretty lonely. So, we have a grieving prince. We have a grieving child who is 10 years old. I will remind you of that again. Prince Adam was 10 years old, okay? Now, if there is a young prince, it's usually a prince and not a princess. Anyway, a young child who gains the throne because they've recently been orphaned. That's usually when the assassination attempts start, or like the all-out like castle sieges to try to claim the throne for yourself. I mean, what's he gonna do? He's 10, right? So security probably got super heightened, okay? Also, yes, he knew that he would probably be king one day, but he's 10 and he just lost his parents, which means he's not even ready for the throne. He hasn't even finished all of his schooling and his studying yet. Keeping all that in mind, it was also a dark and stormy night, which is the perfect time to get yourself killed. And this old lady, knowing that there's an entire village nearby with like inns and mothers who might have an extra bed, goes to the castle on a dark and stormy night. Close to midnight, by the way, so waking up our 10-year-old prince, and asks for entry into the castle. And again, when a prince or princess loses their parents very quickly, that's when the assassination attempts come in. So you have a grieving child who's very much been taught to, like, not really talk to people, and who probably is not in the right headspace to talk to people, woken up rudely and suddenly by an old woman who, instead of talking to any of his subjects, asks him for lodging. And when he says no, because he doesn't want to die, he doesn't want to get, like, assassinated or anything, and he doesn't want this old lady to try to, like, take over the throne, and also he's 10 and he's tired and his parents are dead, she flips her lid and turns him into a weird minotaur buffalo monster thing. And then on top of that, turns all of his servants into inanimate objects. Like, first of all, what did they ever do to you? They're just here, my dude. And second of all, he followed proper royal procedure. Like, that's how you keep yourself and your castle and your kingdom safe. And you want to be petty about it? And then, so on top of, none of his servants have thumbs, so none of them can really properly help him anymore, although they are magic and can, like, make food happen and stuff. You have a grieving 10-year-old who's been woken up in the middle of the night, who is now a minotaur buffalo monster thing. And on top of that, you've got the whole rose life source thing, and, like, as long as someone can love you back before the last petal falls off this rose, you'll be a human again. And if you don't find someone to love you for who you are before the last petal falls, you're just gonna die as a weird monster. He was a 10-year-old prince woken up in the middle of the night, and you turned him into a horrible, terrible monster, which probably caused a lot of his anger. Most of that's just trauma. And then you curse him so that he'll die if no one loves him. But then on top of that, she makes the village forget about the castle, which means no one who knew him knows that he exists anymore. So how exactly is he supposed to find love when his own subjects no longer remember that he exists? How are they supposed to help him? How is he supposed to help them? How is he supposed to help himself? And that's just the animated version, you know? In the live action version, she opens a door and invites herself into the middle of a party. You're lucky you weren't thrown in prison, crazy old witch lady. Like, you can't just waltz into a castle whenever you feel like it and act like everything's fine and everybody has to give you attention. And yeah, the stories are like, oh, he turned her away because she's ugly, and that's why she made him ugly. But, like, they also really heavily specify that, much like Queen Grimhilda, she was disguised as an old hag. And again, this is a 10-year-old woken up in the middle of the night. I'm sorry he called you ugly, but you kind of didn't need to go that hard. So those are the headcanons I have to share. Feel free to debate me in the comments. I'm right. But, like, go ahead. I'm gonna finish this row, and we'll figure it out. I'm sorry this video is a lot longer than my other videos. I talk a lot. I'm pretty sure that most videos are gonna be pretty long on this channel, just because I talk so much. I think the next video I'm gonna make is gonna be either another Disney talk in a way, or it'll be about Project Runway, unless I get another idea between then and now. And I am doubling down. I am trying really hard to post once a week. It's not going to be on a set day, there's no set schedule, but from here on out I do want to post once a week, because I have family that follows this channel that I don't really get to talk to much, so, like, to help keep them updated, and also to help me keep my sanity and, like, remember what day it is, how much time has passed, I want to upload once a week. So feel free to nicely and gently, in my comments, remind me if I haven't filmed yet. And I still don't have the links typed up to my other social medias, but I'm on Instagram, so you guys can find me there. It's Lost Boy in Wonderland. I'll put it in the description, but I don't have a link to it. And it's 3:14, which means I have to take my meds. So I'm gonna go. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next week.